The afternoon sun hung low over the quiet street as Leon walked toward the corner store with his hood up and his headphones around his neck. He was 16 and known around the neighborhood for moving with a group of kids who often acted tough but mostly kept to themselves. Today he walked alone because he wanted to clear his mind and buy snacks before heading home. Officer Reed drove slowly down the road in his patrol car. He was known for strict behavior and for making quick judgments about people he did not understand. When he saw Leon walking by himself, he narrowed his eyes and pulled the car to the side. He stepped out and walked toward Leon with a firm stride that made people on the street pause and watch. Leon stopped when he heard the heavy steps behind him. He turned around and lifted his hands slightly, showing his phone and nothing else. He kept calm because his mother always told him to stay calm in moments like this. He said in a steady voice that he was only going to the store and had nothing to hide. Officer Reed raised his voice and asked Leon where he was coming from and why he was walking alone. His tone carried a hard edge that made the few people nearby turn their heads. Leon tried to answer politely, but Reed stepped closer and accused him of hiding something. Leon's chest tightened because he knew the officer was not listening to anything he said. Reed reached forward and grabbed Leon by the arm to force him toward the car. Leon pulled back in fear but did not fight. He only asked why he was being stopped and what he had done wrong. His voice shook a little but stayed steady enough for people around to hear that he was trying to speak with respect. Reed grew more frustrated. He raised his voice again and called Leon a troublemaker. He said Leon was part of a group he had been tracking and that he did not trust kids like him. Leon stood still and tried to breathe evenly. He knew arguing could make things worse, so he only asked to make a phone call to his guardian so someone would know where he was. Reed hesitated but allowed it with a warning. Leon took his phone and stepped back just enough to dial a number he rarely used. It was a private emergency number given to him by a mentor who worked with a special outreach program. The mentor once told Leon to call that number if he ever felt unsafe with an authority figure who misused power. Leon pressed the call icon. A calm voice answered and asked for his name and location. Leon gave both in a low voice. The person on the other end spoke clearly and told him to stay right where he was and to remain as calm as possible. Leon slipped the phone back into his pocket. Officer Reed folded his arms and asked who he had called. Leon answered truthfully that he had contacted someone from a youth program. Reed shook his head in disbelief and said the call would not help him. He tried to push Leon toward the patrol car again, but Leon stood his ground without raising his hands or voice. People on the sidewalk slowed down and watched closely. They could sense that something was not right. Leon's heart beat fast, but he kept still. He knew the phone call had gone through. He knew someone was coming. He only hoped they would arrive in time. Far away, at a federal response center, a team of agents had already moved into action because the number Leon called was connected to a special protection unit that stepped in when minors faced wrongful treatment. Within minutes, armored vehicles were loading up, and a special team was moving toward the scene. Leon did not know how many people had heard his call or how serious it had become on the other end. He only stood on the sidewalk with steady breath and patient eyes while Officer Reed circled him like someone waiting for a reason to act. The air grew tense. Neighbors watched closely. Cars slowed down. In the distance, faint sirens began to rise. Leon stood still on the sidewalk with his hands slightly open as the warm air around him settled into a heavy silence. Officer Reed kept pacing near him with the same sharp look in his eyes. People in the area watched quietly because they sensed that something important was happening. Leon kept his breathing slow because he remembered the voice on the phone telling him to stay calm. He did not fully understand who he had called or how serious that call might be, but he trusted the advice his mentor once gave him about that number. He knew it was meant for moments when he felt unsafe with someone who held authority. He hoped it had been the right choice. A few cars passed by, and drivers glanced at the scene. Leon tried not to move too much because he did not want to give Officer Reed any reason to claim he was resisting. Reed stood with his hands on his belt and watched Leon like he was waiting to find something wrong. Leon lowered his gaze for a moment and looked at a small crack in the sidewalk, trying to focus on something steady. He felt anxious but kept reminding himself not to speak unless necessary. The people near the store whispered to one another, confused about why such a young boy had been stopped. Officer Reed cleared his throat and asked Leon again who he had called. Leon repeated the same answer he gave before, saying he had contacted a youth program. Reed shook his head and walked a few steps away as if he was trying to decide what to do next. Leon watched him with steady eyes. He wished his mother were there, but he knew she was at work and would not be reachable at that moment. He trusted that someone was on the way because the voice on the phone had spoken with confidence and concern. Leon heard faint sirens in the distance. The sound made his heart jump, though he was not sure if they were coming for him or if they belonged to regular patrol cars. Officer Reed heard them too, and turned toward the road with a puzzled look. He took a few steps forward as if trying to spot the source. The sirens grew louder but still felt far away. Leon kept still because he did not want to draw attention to himself in a sudden way. People around him exchanged looks as the sound continued to rise. A woman near the store stepped closer and asked Officer Reed if everything was fine. Reed told her to step back and mind her own business. Leon felt a strange mix of fear and hope. Fear because the situation was tense. Hope because someone had stood up to ask what was going on. The woman hesitated but then stepped back and stood near the door of the store, watching the scene with her arms crossed. The sirens became clearer. There was more than one vehicle approaching. The sound changed tone as if larger trucks were part of the group. Officer Reed frowned. He looked at Leon with suspicion and asked again what number he had called. Leon answered with the same steady voice, saying he had called an outreach program. Reed shook his head again and looked down the road. The tension grew thicker. Leon noticed people taking out their phones, though they kept a respectful distance. Some recorded the scene quietly while others held their phones at their sides. Leon kept his eyes on the ground because he did not want to add pressure to the moment. He felt the weight of everything around him. He felt the eyes of the neighbors. He felt the uncertainty of what would happen next. The first black vehicle turned into the street. It was not a regular police car. It was larger and moved with a steady and controlled speed. Behind it came another vehicle of the same size. Officer Reed stepped back with a confused expression because he had never seen such vehicles arrive for something like this. The neighbors watched in silence. Leon kept his breath even and steady. The vehicles stopped near the corner. Doors opened in a coordinated motion. Men and women in dark uniforms stepped out. Their uniforms were clean and official, marked with clear federal symbols. They moved with purpose but without panic. They looked around, assessed the area, and located Leon. One of the agents spoke into a radio device while another pointed toward the sidewalk. Officer Reed raised his voice and demanded to know why they were there. The lead agent approached him with a calm but firm tone and asked for space to address the situation. Reed looked surprised. He stepped back only a little and crossed his arms. The agent walked past him and approached Leon. Leon lifted his chin slightly as the agent spoke in a steady voice, asking if he was the one who made the call. Leon nodded. The agent thanked him for staying calm and asked if he needed medical help. Leon said he was fine. He only wanted someone to know where he was. The lead agent walked back to Officer Reed and asked him why he had stopped Leon. Reed tried to explain his reasons, claiming that Leon belonged to a group known for trouble. The agent asked what evidence he had. Reed hesitated. He said he had seen Leon walking alone and thought he might be doing something wrong. The agent asked if Leon had broken any law. Reed paused again. His answers grew weaker as the questions became more direct. The people watching stayed quiet. Even the store owner stepped outside to see what was happening. Leon remained in place because the agent told him to stay still until the situation was fully reviewed. Leon appreciated the calm tone of the agent because it helped him steady his breath. He still felt anxious, but now there was a sense of safety mixed with it. Another agent approached Leon and asked a few basic questions such as his name, age, and address. Leon answered politely. The agent wrote the information down and thanked him. Leon noticed that the agents treated him with respect and did not raise their voices. He felt his shoulders relax just a little. One of the agents asked the people around to stay calm and allow space for the review. The neighbors nodded and stepped back but kept watching. The store owner offered water to Leon, but Leon shook his head because he did not want to break any instruction given by the agents. The store owner placed the water bottle on a small table nearby in case Leon needed it later. Officer Reed continued to argue that he had acted correctly. The lead agent asked him to explain why he had ignored Leon's request to call a guardian. Reed grew frustrated and said he thought Leon was trying to call someone who would interfere. The lead agent reminded him that minors had the right to contact a trusted adult or guardian during encounters of this nature. Reed tried to defend himself, but his explanations did not sound strong. Leon watched quietly as the conversation unfolded. He did not feel joy or victory. He only felt relief that someone was finally asking the questions he had always wished someone would ask. One of the agents approached him again and asked if he felt unsafe at any moment. Leon answered calmly, explaining each step honestly. The agent nodded and wrote everything carefully. As the scene unfolded, another federal vehicle arrived with a senior officer who carried a calm and authoritative presence. This officer walked toward the group and spoke quietly with the lead agent. Leon could not hear their words, but the way they spoke showed seriousness and order. Officer Reed stepped back and looked down as the senior officer called him aside. Leon watched them speak. He could not hear the words, but the senior officer's tone remained even and steady. Reed looked uncomfortable. The senior officer pointed toward the patrol car and then toward the sidewalk, as if explaining the proper procedure. Reed kept his hands behind his back and nodded slowly. The senior officer then approached Leon. He crouched down slightly to match Leon's eye level and thanked him for staying calm and speaking with respect. He explained that his team had responded because the phone number Leon called was part of a protection line used for youth facing possible unfair treatment. He told Leon that he had done the right thing by calling. Leon nodded. The officer told him he could breathe easy now because he was safe and would be taken home soon. Leon looked around at the neighbors who stood watching. Some of them smiled softly at him. Others gave small nods. Leon felt the weight on his chest lighten a little. He thanked the senior officer. The officer placed a gentle hand on his shoulder and guided him toward the vehicle where he would be asked a few more questions before being taken home. The street felt different now. The tension that had filled the air slowly dissolved as the agents moved with calm steps. Officer Reed remained near his patrol car, quiet and uncertain. Leon sat inside the federal vehicle with a mix of relief and quiet sadness. He did not want moments like this to happen again, but he was grateful that help had arrived. The agent sitting beside him asked if he had anyone else he wanted to call. Leon thought of his mother and nodded. The agent dialed the number for him and handed him the phone. His mother answered with worry in her voice. Leon spoke softly, saying he was safe and would be home soon. She asked what happened and he told her he would explain everything when he arrived. The agent smiled gently at him and closed the door as the vehicle prepared to leave. Leon looked out the window and saw the neighbors still watching. Some waved. He gave a small wave back. The vehicle pulled away from the sidewalk and headed toward the main road. Leon sat quietly and let the relief settle through him. The day had changed in ways he never expected, but he knew he had taken the right step. He knew the call he made had been important. And he knew this moment would stay with him for a long time. Leon sat quietly in the back seat of the federal vehicle as it moved through the main road with smooth speed. The agent beside him kept a calm expression and checked his notes now and then. Leon looked out the window at the passing trees and houses. The world outside seemed peaceful, yet his thoughts kept returning to the scene on the sidewalk. He wondered how everything changed so fast. One moment he was walking to the store. The next moment a group of federal agents had come to help him. He felt safer now, but his mind still replayed every detail. He pressed his hands together and tried to breathe slowly because the agent had told him to relax. The vehicle slowed as it approached a secure building near the edge of town. The building was not large or crowded. It looked simple but official. The vehicle stopped near the entrance and the agent opened the door for Leon. Leon stepped out carefully and looked around. The air felt cooler near the building. The agent motioned for him to follow. Leon looked up at the clear sky, then walked inside. The lobby area had clean floors and a few chairs placed neatly near the wall. It felt quiet and safe. A woman in a navy suit approached them with a warm smile. She introduced herself as someone who worked with youth support cases. Leon nodded and greeted her politely. She guided him into a small room with a table and 2 chairs. The agent sat beside Leon while the woman sat across from them with a tablet in her hand. Leon felt nervous again, but the woman spoke in a gentle tone. She said that she only needed to understand what happened earlier so she could make sure he received the right support. Leon relaxed a little and nodded. She began with simple questions such as his name, age, school, and home address. Leon answered clearly. He kept his voice steady because he wanted to show respect. She asked if he had ever felt unsafe during similar situations before. Leon thought for a few seconds, then explained that he had sometimes felt watched or judged because of how he dressed or who he spent time with. He said he did not do anything wrong, but sometimes adults misunderstood him. The woman nodded with understanding and typed the details carefully. The agent added that Leon had shown patience during the earlier scene. The woman asked Leon to describe exactly what he felt when Officer Reed stopped him. Leon explained each step calmly. He said he had tried to answer the officer's questions politely. He said he felt confused when the officer spoke with a harsh tone. He said he felt unsafe when the officer grabbed his arm because he did not know why it happened. He also said he felt relieved when the agent team arrived. The woman listened carefully and took notes at a slow pace so Leon would not feel rushed. When the questions ended, the woman asked if Leon wanted to drink water. Leon nodded and she brought him a cold bottle. He took a long drink and felt calmer. She told him that his mother had been informed and would meet him soon. Hearing this made Leon breathe easier. He had worried about his mother and how she might feel if she heard about the situation from someone else. Knowing she was coming gave him a sense of comfort. Leon waited in the room with the agent for a short while. The agent asked if he wanted to talk about anything else. Leon said he wondered why the number he called led to such a big response. The agent explained that the line was designed to protect youth when there might be unfair treatment. Leon nodded. The explanation made sense now. He was grateful that his mentor had given him that number. The agent asked how he met the mentor. Leon explained that he had joined a local youth program in the past year that helped teens focus on school and positive activities. The agent smiled and said that was a good choice. After some time, Leon heard footsteps outside the room. The door opened, and his mother came in with worry in her eyes. She walked straight to him and held his shoulders gently. Leon felt a warm sense of relief. He tried not to cry because he did not want to worry her more, but she could see the emotion in his eyes. She thanked the agents for taking care of him. The woman in the suit explained the entire situation to Leon's mother in a calm tone. She said Leon had done the correct thing by staying calm and calling for help. Leon watched his mother listen to every word carefully. Her eyes softened as she looked at him. The woman then asked Leon's mother if she had any questions. She asked if Leon would face any trouble. The woman assured her that Leon had done nothing wrong. She said the review was mainly about the officer's actions, not Leon's. Hearing this helped his mother relax. She thanked the team again. The woman told her that someone from the youth support office would check on Leon in the coming days to make sure he felt safe and supported. Leon's mother nodded with appreciation. Leon and his mother stepped out of the room and followed the woman toward the exit. The building felt less intimidating now. Leon felt lighter because he was leaving with someone he trusted. Outside, another federal vehicle was parked, ready to take them home. The agent opened the door for them. Leon stepped inside with his mother. She held his hand for a moment. He felt comfort in her warm grip and then let go gently when she smiled at him. The vehicle moved through the streets at a calm pace. Leon looked out the window again. This time he did not feel the same tension as earlier. The sky looked brighter. His mother looked at him now and then to make sure he was all right. He told her he was fine. She asked him to tell her everything from the beginning. Leon explained the day step by step. He said he had only wanted to buy snacks and take a quiet walk. He said he had answered the officer politely. He said he had called the number because he remembered what his mentor had told him. His mother listened without interrupting. She nodded at each detail and gave a deep breath when he finished. When they reached their neighborhood, Leon saw a few familiar faces outside their homes. Some people waved at the vehicle because they recognized Leon and his mother. They looked relieved to see him safe. The vehicle stopped near their building. The agent who drove the car stepped out to open the door for them. Leon thanked him politely. The agent told him to stay strong and stay close to people who cared about him. Leon nodded. Leon and his mother walked toward their apartment. She kept a hand gently on his shoulder. Inside their home, Leon sat on the couch while his mother prepared tea for both of them. The warm smell filled the room. Leon leaned back and tried to relax. His mother placed a cup in front of him and sat beside him. She told him that she was proud of him for staying calm. She also told him that it hurt her to know he had felt unsafe, but she was glad that he had called for help. Leon sipped the tea and felt warmth spread through his chest. He said he did not want such moments to happen again. His mother told him that she understood and that she would speak with the youth program mentor to discuss more support for him. Leon nodded. He liked the idea. He believed the mentor would guide him well. As evening arrived, Leon decided to go to his room and rest for a while. He lay on his bed and stared at the ceiling. His thoughts drifted through every part of the day. He thought about the officer. He thought about the neighbors. He thought about the agents who had helped him. He thought about the sound of the sirens. He thought about how one phone call had changed everything. He felt a mix of fear and relief inside him, but he also felt something new. He felt a sense of value. He felt like his voice had mattered today. He closed his eyes and breathed slowly. Tomorrow would be a new day. He hoped it would be quieter. He hoped he could walk outside without fear. He hoped he could return to school and focus on his classes. He hoped the world would give him space to grow into the person he wanted to be. And he knew he would try. The next morning, sunlight entered Leon's small room and woke him gently. He opened his eyes slowly and stared at the light patterns on the wall. His body still felt tired from the long day before, but his mind felt clearer. He sat up and listened to the quiet sounds of the apartment. His mother was already awake and moving around in the kitchen. The smell of warm bread filled the air and made the place feel safe. Leon stretched his arms and stood up. He walked out of his room and found his mother packing lunch for him, even though he was not sure he would go to school today. His mother turned and gave him a soft smile. She asked how he had slept. Leon said he had slept well enough. She placed a plate of breakfast on the table for him and told him to eat slowly. Leon sat down and took a small bite. The warm taste helped him feel steady. His mother sat across from him with her own cup of tea. She told him that his mentor from the youth program had called early in the morning and wanted to meet him and talk about everything that happened. Leon nodded because he trusted his mentor and wanted guidance. After breakfast, Leon got ready and put on simple clothes. His mother walked with him to the community center where his mentor usually worked. The streets were calm and some neighbors smiled when they saw Leon. They knew something had happened, but they did not ask questions. They only gave him kind looks and supportive nods. Leon appreciated that. He felt less alone because he knew people cared. The community center was a bright building with colorful posters on the walls. Leon and his mother entered and soon found his mentor sitting in a small office. The mentor greeted them warmly. He had a calm presence that made people feel safe. He asked Leon to sit and asked his mother to take a seat as well. The mentor thanked Leon for contacting the protection line when he felt unsafe. He said that Leon had made a brave choice and that many young people struggled to make such a decision. Leon lowered his eyes shyly but felt a small sense of pride. The mentor asked Leon to describe every detail of what happened. Leon explained the walk to the store, the sudden stop by the officer, the harsh tone, and how he felt frightened. He explained how he remembered the number the mentor gave him and called it. He explained the arrival of the federal agents and how they treated him with respect. His mentor listened carefully without interrupting. When Leon finished, the mentor thanked him and then spoke about the importance of knowing his rights and staying calm, which Leon had done well. The mentor then turned to Leon's mother and assured her that Leon was a strong and thoughtful boy who handled the situation with maturity. She nodded with relief. She had been scared the day before and still felt some worry, but hearing positive words from someone she trusted helped her breathe better. The mentor explained that there would be follow-up meetings to make sure Leon felt safe in the community. Before they left, the mentor asked Leon if he wanted to join a new project at the center that focused on leadership for young people. The project helped teens build confidence and learn how to handle difficult situations in healthy ways. Leon felt interested. He wanted to grow and learn more. He said yes, and the mentor looked pleased. Leon and his mother left the center and walked toward home. The sun felt warm on their faces. His mother asked if he wanted to rest for the day or go to school. Leon thought about it for a moment. He did not want to fall behind in his classes, so he said he would go to school. His mother supported his decision and walked with him to the school gate. When Leon entered the school hallway, he felt a mix of nerves and curiosity. Some students looked at him with interest because news traveled fast in small communities. A few asked if he was all right. Leon replied politely that he was fine and wanted to focus on his classes. Most students accepted his answer and went back to their conversations. Leon felt grateful that they did not push him for details. During the first class, Leon found it a little hard to concentrate because his mind kept drifting to the events of the previous day. The teacher noticed his quiet behavior but did not draw attention to it. She simply placed an extra worksheet on his desk and told him to take his time. Leon appreciated her kindness. He completed the work at a steady pace and felt more grounded as he wrote. During lunch break, 3 of his friends approached him. They usually hung around after school and sometimes made small mistakes that got them warnings from teachers, but they were loyal to Leon. They sat with him and asked softly what had happened. Leon explained in simple terms that a situation had occurred, but everything was under control now. His friends nodded, and one of them placed a hand on his shoulder. Leon felt comfort in their presence. They joked lightly to make him smile, and it worked. After school, Leon walked home alone because his mother was still at work. The streets felt calmer now, and his steps felt lighter. He reached home and placed his bag on the couch. He made himself some tea and sat near the window. He looked outside and watched people walking by. The world felt normal again. He still had memories of the stressful moment from the day before, but they no longer filled his mind as strongly. A gentle knock came at the door. When Leon opened it, he saw one of the federal agents standing there. The agent greeted him politely and said he was checking in to make sure Leon was doing well. Leon invited him inside. The agent asked if Leon had experienced any worry during the day. Leon said he had felt nervous but was all right now. The agent smiled and said that was normal. He reminded Leon that he could always reach out if he needed help. Leon thanked him and the agent left after a short conversation. Later in the evening, Leon's mother returned from work. She looked tired, but her smile grew when she saw Leon sitting peacefully. She asked about his day. Leon explained everything, including the visit from the agent and the meeting with his mentor. His mother felt proud. She said she would always support him because he deserved safety and respect. Leon felt warmth in his heart from her words. After dinner, Leon went for a short walk outside their building. The air felt cool and refreshing. He saw a group of kids playing near the sidewalk and he smiled as he passed them. He walked slowly toward the store he had been heading to the day before. He hesitated near the entrance but then took a deep breath and walked inside. The store owner noticed him and gave him a friendly greeting. He asked Leon how he was feeling, and Leon said he was doing better. The store owner smiled and said that the neighborhood supported him. Leon felt touched by the kindness. Leon bought a small snack and left the store. As he walked home, he thought about how different the same street felt now. The fear he had felt the day before was replaced with a sense of belonging. He realized that even though one moment had been frightening, it had also shown him how many people cared about him. His community, his mentor, his mother, and even the agents who had protected him all played a part in giving him strength. When Leon reached home, he sat on his bed and thought about the future. He wondered how the leadership program would help him grow. He wondered if he could someday help other young people the same way he had been helped. The idea made him smile. He liked the thought of being a voice for others who might feel scared or unsure. He liked the thought of turning a difficult moment into a path of growth. He lay down and looked at the ceiling again. His room felt peaceful. His mind felt calmer than it had in days. He knew life would bring challenges, but he also knew he had people behind him now. He had strength inside him too. He closed his eyes with steady breath and let sleep come easily. Tomorrow he would continue moving forward. Leon woke up the next morning feeling more rested than he had in many days. The sunlight entered his room with a warm glow, and he stretched slowly before sitting up. His thoughts were clear and steady. He knew the past week had changed him in many ways. He felt stronger inside even though the experience had been frightening. He stood up and walked to the small mirror on the wall. He looked at his reflection and saw a boy who was growing into someone more confident and aware. He took a deep breath and stepped out of his room. His mother was already preparing breakfast in the kitchen. She greeted him with a warm smile. She asked how he slept, and he said he slept well. She placed a plate of food on the table and told him she had spoken with the mentor again. The mentor wanted Leon to visit the center for an introduction meeting regarding the leadership program. Leon felt a mix of excitement and nervousness but smiled and said he wanted to attend. His mother nodded and told him she believed he was ready for bigger steps. After breakfast, Leon packed a small notebook and walked with his mother toward the community center. The streets looked peaceful and the weather was bright. Some neighbors waved at them. Leon felt grateful because their smiles gave him a sense of comfort. His mother held a calm expression as they approached the center. When they walked inside, the mentor was waiting for them with a gentle smile. He shook Leon's hand and invited them to sit in his small office. The mentor explained that the leadership program had a simple goal. It aimed to help young people learn confidence communication and problem solving. It also helped them understand their rights and how to support others respectfully. He told Leon that he was a good match for the program because he had shown calm behavior in a stressful moment. Leon felt a warm feeling in his chest. The mentor asked if Leon wanted to start right away or take some days to adjust. Leon said he was ready to begin today. His mother smiled with pride. The mentor guided Leon to another room where a group of teens sat in a circle. They looked friendly and curious. The mentor introduced Leon to them. They welcomed him with kind expressions. Leon took a seat among them. The mentor began the session by asking each member to share something they valued about themselves. When it came to Leon's turn, he took a deep breath and said he valued his ability to stay calm even when situations were confusing. The group nodded in approval. Leon felt accepted. The session continued with an activity about teamwork. The group had to solve a simple puzzle by working together. Leon listened to others and offered ideas at the right time. The mentor praised him for his thoughtful approach. Leon found himself smiling more than usual. He felt like he belonged there. When the session ended, the mentor asked him to stay for a moment. He told Leon that he had natural leadership qualities and that he should continue to nurture them. Leon felt grateful for the encouragement. After leaving the center, Leon and his mother walked back home. His mother asked how the session went. Leon explained everything with excitement. He said the group was friendly and the activities were interesting. His mother looked relieved. She said she wanted him to have a circle of support beyond home and school. Leon agreed. He felt his world expanding in a good way. Later that afternoon, Leon decided to take a short walk outside again. He wanted to test how he felt walking alone after so much had happened. He stepped out of his building with steady breath and walked along the sidewalk. The same street that had once felt frightening now felt familiar and safe. He passed the store and waved at the owner, who waved back warmly. Leon continued walking until he reached a small park with benches. Children played on swings while adults sat in quiet conversations. Leon sat on a bench and watched the simple, peaceful scene. As he sat there, he thought about how much had changed. He had once feared that he would always be seen in a negative way. He had feared that one moment could define him forever. But now he understood something important. He understood that one moment could also be the start of something better. The people who helped him showed him that he deserved respect. His mentor believed in him. His mother supported him. His community stood by him. Leon realized he was not alone. While he sat on the bench, an older man approached slowly with a gentle smile. The man introduced himself as someone who lived in the neighborhood and had seen what happened the other day. He sat on the bench beside Leon and said he was proud of how calmly Leon had handled the situation. The man said it took strength to stay steady when things felt unfair. Leon listened with gratitude. The man told him to keep growing and stay focused on positive paths. Leon thanked him sincerely. The man gave him an encouraging nod and walked away. Leon stayed at the park for a few more minutes. He enjoyed the quiet breeze. Then he stood up and began heading home. As he walked, he saw the same group of friends he often spent time with. They called out to him and invited him to sit with them. Leon joined them on a low wall near the sidewalk. They chatted about school, music, and games. Leon laughed a few times and felt lighter. His friends asked if he was joining any new activities. Leon told them about the leadership program. They listened with interest. One of them said he wished he could join too. Leon encouraged him to talk to the mentor. When Leon reached home, his mother was preparing dinner. She asked him how his walk had been. Leon told her about the park, the older man, and his friends. His mother smiled and looked relieved. She said she wanted him to have moments of peace and joy. Leon told her that he felt stronger now. She nodded with pride. During dinner, they talked about school and future plans. Leon said he wanted to do well in his studies because he wanted to make good choices. His mother supported his goals and reminded him that he had many people who believed in him. After dinner, Leon helped wash the dishes, then sat near the window again. The evening lights outside looked soft and calming. Leon took out his notebook and began writing down thoughts from the day. He wrote about the leadership session, his walk in the park, and the conversation with the older man. He also wrote about how he wanted to grow into someone who could guide others in difficult times. Writing helped him understand his own feelings and gave him a sense of direction. As night settled, Leon prepared for bed. He lay down and thought about the past days again. He remembered the fear he felt when standing on the sidewalk. He remembered the relief when the agents arrived. He remembered the support from his mentor and mother. He remembered the encouragement from his friends and neighbors. All these moments created a strong foundation inside him. He closed his eyes and whispered a small promise to himself. He promised to stay steady. He promised to stay kind. He promised to stay focused on his goals. He promised to help others when he could. He promised to rise beyond fear. Leon drifted into sleep with a peaceful heart. He knew life would bring challenges and surprises, but he now believed he had the strength to face them. He believed he could walk forward with confidence. And he believed that every step he took would carry him toward a brighter future.